Good morning, Rashmi Samant,
Good morning.
and welcome to Trivandrum, Kerala.
Thank you. The honor is mine to be in God's own country.
Thank you. We know you from the childhood, so thought of introducing you to the youths of Kerala as well as in India. So please tell something about your family, childhood, education background, etc.
So basically, I don't come from very far away. Just across the border from Kerala, Kasargod. I think all of you know of Mangalore, Udupi. I know everybody in Kerala comes to Mukambika every month. So that's where I'm from. I'm from Udupi.
Okay.
I was born and raised there, not really anywhere outside. I went to a local school there. My family is a simple middle class family. My father has a small business, my mom's a homemaker, we have a family temple. So life was very idyllic. Just growing up with a bunch of cousins, playing, I don't know what, hide and seek in the evening. That was the sort of upbringing. Nothing really special.
You are
I
the
went-
only daughter, I mean.
Yes, I'm an only child. That is also part of growing up. But I think I grew up among so many cousins that it was never a question that I was.
And what about your education?
I went to a very local school, Madhav Kripa.
No, like the higher studies, I mean.
Yeah, so after Madhav Kripa, I went to Manipal Institute of Technology where I did my mechanical engineering. I went on to do my masters from the University of Oxford, where I have a masters in energy systems, sustainable energy. Currently, I'm pursuing a part-time PhD from IIT Delhi. I think learning is continuous, and one should always be open to new ideas so that they don't stagnate.
Okay. Why you selected Oxford University? What was the course you selected and how you reached there?
Well, I think it's a very funny story. When I was very small, I was obsessed with reading books. So it started with Tinkle, Amar Chitrakatha, Famous Five, so on. Since English is not our native language, I used to be given dictionaries. So back in the day, there was no Google. It wasn't such a big thing. And one of the dictionaries was Oxford Dictionary. And I was very fascinated with the word. And I asked my father. He said that it was the name of the number one university in the world, and it was in a town called Oxford in England. And I got obsessed with the idea of studying there. But I think over time it was hard work coupled with obsession that led me there, because one without the other leads you nowhere.
And what about the language? Did you face any language issue once you are there, like the accent and everything? It was okay with you, or
Yeah.
you how you managed to do that one?
The language was okay, but I think the lack of sun was a problem, because you're raised here in a tropical climate, and you need the vitamin D to make you feel happy, so it was quite sad.
Okay. Please give me a brief description about the Oxford University, like how many colleges in that campus, how many students was in that campus, etc. Because most of the people are just thinking Oxford University is one university with a few hundreds or few thousands of people. But how can you give an explanation so that the people or the students will understand what is that campus?
So the University of Oxford is a little town called Oxford, and it's about an hour and a half from London. And it's very beautiful. It's like a tiny village with university buildings. So you have great libraries. I think the best part about studying at Oxford was like hundreds of beautiful old libraries. But the university system is itself unique. Here, when we call a college is usually a subsystem of a university where you go to study. But in the University of Oxford, a college is where you live. It's your family. Like the different houses in Harry Potter, Hogwarts, you had Gryffindor, Hufflepuff. So those then translate to colleges. So colleges are not where you study. So different students from different colleges, they study in the same department and for the same course, and these courses and departments are directly affiliated to the University of Oxford. So you have 45 odd colleges and halls, and these are very beautiful, very old. These were established by different luminous people across time. So you have colleges which are extremely old, because the university is itself 1,000 years old. So you have colleges which are all the way dating back to the year 1000, and then you have colleges all through. I went to a relatively modern college called Linacre, but I was registered to study at the Department of Engineering Science in the University of Oxford. It's got about, I think, anywhere between 6 to 8,000 students at any given point of time. So it's a relatively large campus. It's not in no means a small campus. It's literally a huge town. But then the demography is very distributed. So you see people there from everywhere, from a little place like Panama to Fiji to Maldives to Mauritius. You have people from everywhere studying there. So it's like having a little global community in a small town, all young, all considered to be the top 1%, 0.1% brains of the world. So a very intelligent mixed crowd from across the world.
What about the age criteria? Like which age to what age people are students are studying, or the age people are coming for studying and everything? Or
See, largely about 75% of the students are all very young. They're all under 25, under 30. But you do have people who come there for, a master's and PhD, who are much older. Because to do your master's or PhD from Oxford, you need to have a certain level of qualification in terms of work experience, achievements, and that people only attain much later in their life. So I would say it's a bit of a, I think 75% is very optimistic. It's more of a 60-40 ratio, where 60% are largely under 25, under 30, and then 40 are much older. In fact, in my own department, there was someone who had a very successful startup in the tech industry, which he sold and then came to do a PhD, and he was 45, and he was one of my best friends and continues to be one of my best friends. So I think you have this whole mix of people across different age ranges, and that is to say that learning never stops.
okay. Next question is how you become the first Indian president of Oxford University Students Union, and in which year?
So the year was 2021. The time was about February 2021. That's when I became the first Indian president of University of Oxford. And how because nobody else contested before me for over the entire existence of the university and its students union. So I think that's how I managed to become the first Indian president.
This president election, actually, it is based on religious or political, or how it is, or how many candidates were there?
See,
For
at
the
Oxford you have people of every religion, every region. So you can't really play on the diversity aspect, because who are you going to tap? And I'm a Hindu, I'm a practicing Hindu. There are less than 100 Hindus on campus. So if it's a religious election, then there's actually no point. And end of the day, it's a student campus. But at the same time, it's a student's campus that's forever under global lens. So it is a political election, which is a mix of campus-based issues, like the problems on the campus and how we are going to deal with it. But there's also a global angle to it as to what our perspective on certain global issues are going to be. So it's a bit of a mixed advocacy and campus issues mixed sort of election.
There was some controversy after you became the president. What was happened actually?
Yeah, I mean, there was a big controversy post-elections, and I think everyone, including the Indian Parliament, has heard about it. A certain set of students who are very politically motivated in terms of ideology. So we have a wide spectrum of ideology, from the far right to the far left to everything in between, had an issue with my background, the fact that I came from Udupi, and they thought that Udupi was the hotbed of Hindutva. and that we were inherently Islamophobic, and that we were inherently extremist. So there was a lot of you would say anti-India hatred and sort of Oriental hatred that was entrenched into these minds because of the way that the world works and because of the sort of colonial narrative which has been present for a really long time. So what happened was general racist attacks and vilification of my identity. So that's what happened. And it's the funny part that it was a very small minority, but they had a very loud voice. So unfortunately, a vocal minority tends to dictate the narrative in many situations, and that's what happened. There was a lot of issues, and in fact professors got involved. Some professors in the history department thought that, oh no, we can't have a Hindu president, because Hindu as an identity was vilified so much in the books that they then declared that. But fortunately things turned out in my favor. There was a long protracted battle, but the professors who said these things were put under severe restrictions, and then they were eventually let go of. And we can say that today, whenever Hindu students celebrate Saraswati Puja at University of Oxford, the Vice Chancellor herself comes to attend it. So we were able to create that perception change about Hindus on campus, and have a better standing for our identity, which was not really the issue, but it was made the issue, but we managed to get the best out of it.
So when it is happening, immediately after you have been elected, or after some point?
It was
of time?
in the first week of me getting elected.
Okay. What is the difference between university and Indian universities?
See, India has been the cradle of education. We've had great international universities since ancient times, like Takshashila, and so on. But the problem is that every time invaders came to India, they would burn our universities, and there are tales about how one of our libraries actually burnt for 6 months continuously, because that was the amount of knowledge which was there. So I believe that we are the progeny of a great civilization that was destroyed, but now we are actually rebuilding, and we are in the process of rebuilding things. And the universities abroad, for that instance, they do not have a legacy of great education. If you look at a couple of 100 years ago, they did not have a great legacy. In fact, when Oxford and Cambridge, which are ranked very highly in the world today, Oxford at number 1, they started, nobody wanted to study there. So the King of England, one of the Henrys, brought in a rule that English students are not allowed to study abroad. And this embargo went on for 300 years, and that's how they were able to make Oxford the number 1 university, by actually stopping forcefully their own students from studying abroad. Just imagine if post independence we had that kind of law here in India, then our students also wouldn't go, and then we would have one of the best universities. But I think freedom is fundamental, and we all should have the freedom to choose where we want to study. But despite having that freedom, today Indian universities are in the top 100. IIT Delhi is ranked 1 in India, and it's in the top 100 in the world. And I think in the next decade or so, it is going to be India's century, wherein we are going to feature in the top tens of the world. You can already see China taking that space and pushing these European universities behind. Because what these European universities had was colonial money that was constantly coming in. So there was heavy investment which went in. Whereas our universities which were established were all burned down. And to rebuild it and rebuild the nation, there is always a split of priorities. But despite that, we will manage. And the future is that of Indian education.
Okay. Another thing, like most of the students, they are going for education, like higher education abroad, like Canada, Australia, UK and everything. But your case, after the studies, you came back to India. For what was the plan when you are coming back to India? Whether you want to work, or you want to go for politics, or what is that actually? What motivated you to come back?
Well, firstly, the problem was that I can't cook, and I think I would starve to death if I stayed abroad for too long. But jokes apart, I think it's, for me, I think if I measure my life in terms of impact I have on society, the society is there by virtue of colonial money, colonization is already at 99% efficiency. Anything I do there is only going to take the system from 99 to 99.99. But here I have a real chance to build up a system from 30% to 99% efficiency. And I think if you start measuring your life in terms of impact, you will have the satisfaction that you've contributed to society in a very meaningful way if you work with a country like India. And end of the day, I feel that as an Indian, I feel most satisfaction being among my own people and making sure that there's a smile on the face of a couple of Indians because of the work that I do.
So, I mean, you want to work in politics, or I think, are you a supporter of BJP, or you want to work for BJP, or what is it?
Well, I think to work for society, you don't really have to be in politics actively. Politics is one of the ways in which society can be helped. I think there's so much social service that is happening on the ground, and I've been associated with so much of the work that is happening at a policy level to change this country into a more efficient system. Currently, I'm associated with a campaign called One Nation, One Election, and it is apolitical. It is not happening under a BJP banner. It is happening under the banner of all those 30 plus political parties which want this country to move to a more efficient system in which we can save up to 1.6% of our gross domestic product, GDP, by not wasting money on having elections every 6 months, just because some political parties feel that they can, get some benefit out of it. So I think my life's purpose is to bring change at a policy level, at a systemic level, under the ban of politics or apart from it. But as long as there is a citizen movement supporting it, I will always be standing up for it.
Yes, correct. I think you came here for the One Nation, One Election Students and Youths Conference in Kerala, correct?
Yes.
So, as a youth leader, what are the advantages of One Nation, One Election? Short 4 or 5 points. Can you explain?
Short for 5 points, I think you're saving a lot of money, and I think the youth should think for policies which save the nation's money. So we are going to save about 5 lakh crores, 1.6% of our GDP, and in one election cycle, if we save that much money, we can start up to 150 new IITs, about a couple of 100 AIMS and IIMs. So I think that is something the youth should push forward to. The second thing is saving our environment. An election has a very huge impact on our environment because of the transport, the private jets that all of these politicians use, up to 2.8 million tons of carbon dioxide. Over 1.5 million trees are cut just to make paper. And there are about 1.5 million tons of plastic waste which is created. And it is degrading our environment at such a fast rate that when we grow up in 10-15 years, there are going to be natural calamities all around because we've managed to destroy our environment to the extent that there's nothing to live for anymore. So I think if we are concerned about our environment, we need to be concerned about having an election process that has the least amount of carbon footprint. Thirdly, I think opportunities. How can young people actually be in elected position if we have so many multiple elections? The same man who is a member of parliament will contest MLA election.
Correct.
He will lose it, he will come back to being MP. But if there is one nation, one election, and the elections are happening at the same time, then the same man can't be sitting on all the positions. Then different people will get an opportunity. That way, I think a lot of the nepotistic politics or family politics will also go away. So I think largely these are the 3 points which the youth should keep in mind when they rally their support for One Nation, One Election.
Okay. Do you think it is easy to implement?
See, I think nothing that is good is easy. If you want to lose weight, it is difficult. If you want to eat healthy, it is difficult. If you want to do something that is right, it is difficult. The wrong way is usually easy. That's why many of us try to pick that because it is a shortcut to everything. So I think if we want something that has a long-term benefit, then we have to put up with the pain that is going to come up initially so that we have perpetual sort of goodness perpetuating within our society.
Okay, what are the hurdles you feel to implement this, and what can be the negative questions can be raised by the other political parties, and how you are going to overcome this?
I think one of the largest hurdles that we have is how to justify this constitutionally. It is going to require constitutional amendments.
Correct.
So, bringing that about within the two parliaments and having local consensus among people that this is necessary is going to be one of the largest hurdle. And we're trying to address this by trying to convince people of the pros and cons of this. Of course, the opposition is going to ask, it is the world's largest election, how are you going to do it at the same time? So, a lot of these questions are going to come up with respect to logistics, with respect to doing things. But hey, we are a country like India where you can get your groceries under 8 minutes. So, there is no problem that we cannot solve if we want to do it. The only question is, do we want to do it? And I think for a change, we need to do things that's right for us.
Okay, what you are doing right now, and what is your ambition in your life?
So currently, it's been 3 years since I came back to India, and in the past 3 years, I have worked with. In the past 3 years, I have worked in different spheres. So there are different angles to what I'm doing. As soon as I came back, I've joined. I started a business in the year 2021, which is doing well, and that is where my primary income comes from. Apart from that, I'm doing a part-time PhD from IIT, because I think that learning education should be continuous, and I'm doing it in the climate vulnerability phase, because that is something that's going to affect India the most in the future, and we need to have an educated opinion about how to solve it. Apart from that, I'm a published author of 2 books, and I'm writing my 3rd book currently. So I have the whole author thing going on for me. Apart from that, I try to associate with as many campaigns as possible, be it local, national or global. Represent country on different platforms. I've been to Israel, I've been to Russia on many conferences, and couple of other countries. So I intend to keep that voice alive, which is hoping for a better, brighter and safer and more prosperous India.
You told me that you studied mechanical engineering. Okay. Next, higher studies, what you have taken?
So I went from mechanical engineering to energy systems and sustainability, because mechanical engineering, you do study the basic principles of thermodynamics and heat transfer. So energy is a big part of my undergrad. So I tried to focus on that in my master's. And for my PhD, I've decided to pick up sustainability from my master's degree. And currently I'm working on climate vulnerability, especially in countries, developing countries and recently developed countries in the global south like India.
How many countries you have visited so far?
That's a tough question. 30 plus for sure, but I haven't counted recently. So
Okay.
maybe anywhere between, could be 30, could be 40, under 50 for sure.
In school days, I know that you are telling always boring, boring, and everything. Okay, how you feel now?
I feel alive with all of the travel, meeting new people, consistently trying new food, experiencing different cultures, temples, synagogues, and everything in between. It has been a very fulfilling journey. And I feel like more youth need to step out of their comfort zones consistently. Honestly, it's a bit scary because every day I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm going to a new place where I don't know anybody. I'm going to a new country which could be under war. I've been to 2 war-stricken countries continuously in the past 12 months. So life has been very unpredictable and challenging, but at the same time it's been something that makes me feel the most alive, because I get to experience all of these things, which I feel is deepening my commitment to vouch for a better future for our world and to be very active in making that happen, no matter how difficult it is.
I don't know whether I can ask this question or not.
Okay.
How old are you, and what is your passion and hobbies, etc.?
So I'm currently running 26. I'm 98 born, and my passion is to write, to debate, swimming. I do enjoy swimming. But I used to have these, tiny little childhood hobbies that I think you also know about: collecting coins, foreign currency notes. I managed to have a very big collection. So these days I don't have the time to add to it, but I definitely have the time to look at it and feel happy.
Okay, since you are associated or interacting with different politicians across India, how you feel whether somebody is approaching you for any support or they want to meet them or something like that requirements, how you are managing?
So I think that's a very tricky question. There are lots of people in our society who need genuine help, and they do approach me, and I try to do my best in every situation to help them. Very recently, somebody I knew and their distant relatives were stuck in a state with a liver transplant problem, and we were able to get them the surgery and so on. So there are the good requests which we are able to fulfill and make happen. But there are also people who have suggestions and they want me to go tell Modi to do this, to do that. So there's a lot of that also which comes my way. But I think the trick is to handle that also with a lot of care, because I think everybody genuinely wants what's best for this country, and people have different ways of expressing it. But I'm here to make it all possible in the best way that I can.
So, I mean, you have a better relationship with the BJP government like Modi, Amit Shah, like that, or
See, I think the Prime Minister is everybody's Prime Minister,
Correct.
irrespective of whether you support the party or not.
Hmm.
But I think I've had the good fortune of interacting with different political parties across the spectrum, and it has been very fulfilling.
And what is the message you want to give to the youth? Like youths always say there is no time to manage everything, but how you are managing your studies, politics together, and what message you want to give to the youths in India?
I think for the youth, the message I want to give is this is the only phase when you have endless energy. Once you hit a certain age, then the energy will start going down. So use this energy to do as much as possible. And energy comes from the satisfaction of completing something. So I would just like to urge you to step out of your comfort zone regularly and find energy in the satisfaction of having made this world a better place.
What is your final ambition or final where you want to reach? You will be having something in your mind.
No, nothing like that. I think currently everything is so overwhelming that I'm taking things one day at a time. But hopefully, the day when it's my last, I will have the satisfaction that we've done enough to change lives of people who deserve it the most here and across the world, and that our life means something in terms of the impact that we leave. So that is my ambition, that my entire life is dedicated to 100% impact in our society.
Yeah,
Thank
I think you visited a different states of India,
Yes.
and how you feel Kerala? I think you are coming first time to Kerala.
No, not first time to Kerala. I've been to Kerala a couple of times. First time in Thiruvananthapuram.
Before?
But I've been to Kasargod, to Bekal, to Kochi, to different parts, to Calicut. But I think every place is very different but very same at the same time, because we are all bound by the same civilizational value. The home in Guwahati, Assam, and the home here in Trivandrum will always feed me like my mother feeds me, will always take care of me like my mother takes care of me. So I think that essence of selfless service, love, and family like interaction is something that is common from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and from the east all the way to the west. And that is something that you cannot take away from an Indian. And it's the same thing I found here in Kerala as well.
Anyway, now it is hurried hurry to go back to Delhi
Yes.
for you. Thank you for your valuable time for sharing your views to the youths of India, and wish you all the success in your life.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. This
Thank
was
you.
wonderful. We will sit together again the next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.